Nhung and I'm from Book 1. Today we have a topic about what is qualitative research and why doing this research. We have some important aims in this research. First, we want to study a real-world setting. Second, we discover how people cope and thrive in that setting. And last one, we capture the richness of people's everyday lives. So, we move to the main points. First, the allure of qualitative research. We have some ranges of topics, from the rare to the commonplace, like we unearth surprising but existing forms of exploitation. We can analyze some changes of immigration among countries, including educational or community settings. We can mention that the level of caring a long-term in a hospital. And also, we offer data and explanation related to business. And the last one, we can contrast consuming markets based on practices and habits. This research allows in-depth studies, favorites, in-plan, everyday terms, also the topics of interest. We have the inability to establish the necessary research conditions we called an experiment. We have some difficulties in drawing respondents and obtaining a high response rate, we call a survey. Also, we have availability of sufficient data, series or lack of coverage of sufficient variables, we called an economic study. And also other limitations, being devoted to studying the past but not ongoing events, we called a history. So, we move to the second main point of this research, the distinctiveness of qualitative research with 5 features. The first one I want to show you about is studying the meaning of people's life under real-world conditions. We have some performances through diaries, journals, writing, and photography, and then social interactions occur. The second one is representing the views and perspectives of the participants in the study, and one of the major purposes is capturing perspectives. And then, events and ideas represent the meaning given to real life by the people, and it is not the values, preconceptions, or meanings by researchers. The third one is covering contextual conditions. We have 3 conditions: society, institution, and environment. However, the social science methods have difficulty in addressing these conditions. For example, surveys are constrained to manage the degrees of freedom required to analyze the responses to a set of survey questions. So, surveys are limited the number of questions. The fourth is showing a diary or chronicle of everyday life. It is driven by a design to explain these events through existing or emerging concepts. It can be an occasion for developing new concepts, which explain social processes. For example, the notion of subtractive schooling provides useful explanation and forms a platform for new inquiries. In fact, studies devoid of concepts or new or any interpretation would diaries chronicle but not qualitative research. The last but not least is striving to collect, interpret, present data from resources or evidences. The complexity of the field and the diversity of participants are the use of interviews and observations and the inspection of documents and artifacts. The studies of conclusions are based on triangulating the data from the different sources, and this convergence will add to study the credibility of trustworthiness. and we move to some common practices. Some reference chapters for details which related to the methodological practices. In Chapter 4, we use a flexible rather than research designs. In Chapter 5 and 6, the collections of field-based data. From Chapter 8, we have some analysis of non-numeric data. And in Chapter 9, we have the interpretation of the findings from the qualitative study. Now we move to the third main point of this research, the multifaceted world of qualitative research. The breadth of what is called qualitative research embraces a mosaic of orientations with three conditions. The first condition is the potential multiplicity of interpretations of the human events being studied. The second is the potential uniqueness of these events. And the last one is the methodological variations available within qualitative research, but all conditions create much of the multifaceted world of qualitative research. But multiple interpretations of the same events. The initial condition being from qualitative research design is capturing the meaning of real-world events from the perspective of study participants. We have two terms. They are so complicated, amic and attic. Amic is to capture participants' indigenous meanings of real-world events, but attic is the same set of real-world events from an external perspective. And the two terms will differ owing to difference in observers' value system, their predispositions, gender, age, race, and ethnicity. Whether adopting a multicultural orientation or not, acknowledging the possibility of multiple interpretations of similar events can cast quality research as a relativist. It means multiple realities and observer dependence rather than realist single reality and set of facts independent of any observers. But whether to emulate one of the qualitative research variants, a third condition points to the large number of formally recognized methodologies within qualitative research, but you may want to emulate one of the variations. You need to be sensitive to these variations. And of course, despite these variations, the common qualities also have persisted and become better recognized. First, to exercise a viable option by conducting qualitative research in a generalized form. And the second, we simply state, as in the articles in the leading journals, that you are presenting a qualitative research study without reference of any the variants. And the last, mediating strategies with two ways. We have two ways in mediations. The first one, we recognize any methodological choices ahead of time. It indicates your sensitivity about ability of opportunities, constraints, and underpinnings. We state your location, so it indicates how the design of the study and the selections of your research procedure reflected the stated location. But the second, on times of inquiry, in so far as the goal is to reach credible conclusion and underlying similarity. Of course, the main goal is doing trustworthy and credible qualitative research It represents the common invader, so the entirety of next sections is devoted to this second alternative. The last but not least of this research, we move to the D, building trustworthiness and incredibility with qualitative research. The first term I want to show you is transparency. The initial objective is that qualitative research be done in a publicly accessible manner. We also describe and document qualitative research procedure so other people can review and try to understand. Also, data are available for inspection. And then, general idea was to scrutinize work and the evidence used to support findings and conclusions. Moreover, any person, whether a peer or colleague or participant in qualitative research, can undertake such as an examination. The second term, methodicness. A second objective is to do qualitative research, which is ready for discovery and allowance for unanticipated events. Being methodic, we have to follow a set of research procedures and minimize whimsical or careless work. Of course, we have to define research design on a more informal but nonetheless rigorous field routine. We avoid unexplained bias or deliberate distortion in carrying out research. And then we bring a sense of completeness to a rich research effort, cross-checking a study's procedures and data. And we move to adherence to evidence. The final one is qualitative research is based on an explicit set of evidence. And of course, the goal is to describe your own decision-making processes, and of course, the context in which the language is expressed. Regardless of the kind of data being collated, the studies of conclusions should be drawn in reference to those data, and the numerous illustrations of already published qualitative studies is to take the form of short inserts within the text. And of course, the book is built on an inductive platform, deriving much of the preferred research practices from the ways that qualitative research already has been practiced. And finally, we illustrated studies offered by the remainder or this book. The inductive platform may match well the spirit of the entire qualitative research enterprise. It helps to display another aspect of the mosaic of qualitative research, its diversity in representing numerous academic disciplines and professions. Some examples come from such fields as sociology, anthropology, psychology, political science, management science, social work, public health, education, and program evaluations. And with the purpose of this book is to present a full array of procedures for practicing qualitative research, and then give you immediate access to specific examples for further reference. So your foundations is to know about how social science research works and bring a critical eye to the reading of published research studies. Of course, the hope is that the guidance is relevant whether the study is being done with your own resources or a part of your sponsored research projects. And the last but not least, We also need a recap for Chapter 1. There are a lot of things that are very difficult and complicated, but I want to show you some of them, and then you can generalize and visualize both to understand more about our presentation. The first one, we mentioned participants in a qualitative study, contextual conditions, multiple sources of evidence. The two terms amic, arctic. We have thick description, the construction of field work. The field researchers as the main search instruments. Relativist versus realist types of inquiry. Formally recognize variation in qualitative research. The location in contrast to similarity. And transparent methodologies and some quite difficult types of terms. And bye-bye. So we move to Chapter 2.